Okay, we're going to officially call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission of Thursday, July 11th to order. And for the record, we'll note that all of the commissioners are present. And then we will move on to our Pledge of Allegiance and call on Commissioner De Almeida for that honor. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh yeah, that would be August 11th. Thank you. Corrected by Tom Ludden. Okay, so at this time we have public comments. If anyone would like to address the Planning Commission of an item not on the agenda, this is the time. And for this and for all of your addresses to the Commission, we ask that you keep it under 3 minutes. And conformance with the Brown Act, no action can occur on these items presented during public comments. And please state your name and your city of residence. Are there any public comments? None, all that. Okay, presentation items. We have none. So now we'll go to the consent calendar. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, so Gail will introduce staff and present public hearings tonight.
Yes, our first public hearing this evening is a site development permit to amend a previous site development permit to allow an alternative development standard. Has a this evening.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. This first item tonight is an amendment to the site development permit for the Madison at Park residential project that was previously approved for 53 single-family residences by the Planning Commission on March 10th of this year. As you may recall, the Parkside residential gated community will be located at the corner of Rancho Parkway and Portola Parkway and includes 3 neighborhoods and a recreation center. The developer, Toll Brothers, was issued building permits for the construction of model homes this week, and they are anticipating opening the model homes in February of next year. This project is a request to add a 3rd story option for 2 of the approved floor plans. The 3rd story would be an option for customers to add a bonus room, a half bathroom, and a covered deck to their home. To accommodate the 3rd story, the applicant is requesting an alternative development standard to increase the maximum height requirement from 35 feet to a maximum of 36.5 feet. The additional height will accommodate the developer's standard ceiling heights for each floor and still provide the decorative S-tile roofing tile. This same alternative development standard was approved by the Planning Commission for the adjacent Lexington development earlier this year. The proposed architecture of the 3-story floor plans is well articulated and incorporates architectural elements at different heights to soften the massing of the building. The proposed 3rd story floor option may change the streetscape along the private streets in the community and along a portion of Rancho Parkway. However, the 3rd story option will only be available for 2 of the 3 floor plans and will only be used when the customer selects and pays for the option. Accordingly, the mixture of the 2- and 3-story residences throughout the community will provide variation in the heights of the residences and create a varied street scene. Staff has included the required findings for this alternative development standard in the resolution approving the site development permit. Staff recommends adopting the resolution approving this project. This resolution will rescind the original site development permit and approve this new site development permit with the alternative development standard for the Madison project. The resolution includes the same conditions of approval from the original project. A representative from Toll Brothers is in the audience tonight, and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have on this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions of staff tonight?
Just to confirm, the overall height difference is 1.5 feet. Is that?
So the height limit for that zoning district is 35 feet, and this would allow them to go to 36.5 feet. Yeah, so 18 inches over the height limit.
Okay.
Thank you.
The height increase that we approved the last time, was that also 18 inches?
Yes, it's the same.
Same exact number?
Yeah, same exact height.
I see no more questions of staff, so let's see if we, does Toll Brothers want to talk about it? Nick?
Thank you, guys. So just a little bit about this option. Very similar to what we did in the Lexington section, except this one's not going to be standard floor plan set up that way. It's just options, as Jennifer said. It's only going to be on 2 of the houses, and the homeowners will basically be able to purchase that walk-up with an outdoor living space upstairs. Some of these lots are limited in space in the backyards, and this is our highest-end product in the community. So we're looking for a way to get them a little bit more square footage if they needed to, and a little bit more outdoor living space. So that's kind of how this ranges. They're about 1,100 to 1,200 square feet, and we're thinking that price range for this option is going to range anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. So it's probably not going to be selected all the time, but it's something great to offer to our homeowners.
So I know you guys have done studies and whatnot, so I'm sure you're not just, let's see what happens. Typically, what do you expect out of the 53, is that what I'm talking about, 53 homes? How many are you guys, reasonably expecting to be the 3-story?
So it would only be offered on about 36 of them, because one of our plans doesn't have that option.
Right.
So we're hoping that it would go 36 for 6. Beacon Park had a very similar setup. I think they went 27 for 27 on where they had the ability to have a 3rd floor option. Now these are a little bit bigger homes, so we'll have to see kind of what the market bears and thinks about our site, but we would love it if it was, the capture rate was like 80%. That would be great.
So I have one question. So let's say that you've built half of these 36 homes, and then you don't have buyers standing in line. And are you going to build them to the max if you don't have a request yet because you don't have a buyer, or are you just expecting the buyers to be standing in line?
So typically for us, we don't build a lot of spec homes. So most of ours start after we sell the house itself. We do, to move phases along, we might do maybe 1 or 2 quick delivery homes per phase. This isn't an option that I would think that we would do if it's unsold. This is one of those things where we're going to wait to see what the market does. If we see that, everybody's buying it, then when we do a spec home, we would probably do it. But in the beginning, I'd say we'd be safe, and we're probably not going to do a 3rd-story option if it's not purchased ahead of time by a buyer. Does that make sense?
So if phase 1,
Yeah, I wouldn't. We build one in phase 1 just to be able to model it, because we didn't have it in time for our model homes. They already started. So we'll probably do 1 in phase 1 just so people can see it, but we'll go from there. Basically, if people like it, then we'll continue to do it.
okay, thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, so this is an option.
It's an option.
All right. Do the buyers pay this option up front then?
They do. Yes.
Okay, so they're going to have the 80 or 100 grand that they have to put down up front, non-refundable for you to build the house that way.
Correct. We do a percentage, so they put 20% down on options. So that would be paid up front. So and all structural options are chosen like within 10 days of their agreement of sale. Usually it's after the agreement of sale.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more speakers? All right, no more speakers. So we're going to bring it back up here. And does anybody have any, oh, I see a button. Right, are you ready? Oh, sorry, I thought you were ready to speak. You go.
I make the motion that we close the public hearing and that we approve staff recommendations for this plan.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll just make sure there's no discussion on this before we go to vote. Hearing none, let's vote. Congratulations, 5-0. All right, we are moving on to the next item. Gail?
Yes, item 3, a use permit for Mission CrossFit. And Brian Tung has a staff report this evening.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The item before you tonight is a use permit for the operation of Mission CrossFit at 25322 Geronimo Road. The CrossFit use is classified as a health club and requires approval of a use permit. The applicant proposes to have a maximum class size of 16 participants to be regulated through online enrollment. Classes will be held throughout the day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 5:30 a.m. and ending at 8:30 p.m. Classes are also proposed on Saturday from 9 o'clock to 11 a.m. A parking study was conducted that shows that there is adequate parking to accommodate 16 participants and 2 staff members in all classes except for the afternoon classes from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. During these times, 12 parking spaces are made available for the use. Therefore, a condition of approval restricts the use to not exceed a demand for 12 parking spaces during the afternoon classes. With this condition of approval, the project meets all requirements of the zoning code, and staff is recommending approval for the use permit. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you, and the applicant is in the audience tonight.
Thank you. All right, does anybody have any questions of Ryan? Okay. Thank you, Ryan. You did a great job.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're going to see if our applicant would like to come and talk about it, or anybody else.
Justin Yee.
I think Gail opened the public hearing by virtue of... Does the public hearing open before staff report, or does it open now? Okay, we're going to open up the public hearing. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me. We are an existing CrossFit gym. We've been operating in Mission Viejo for the past 5 years. And so we're just moving our location to Lake Forest. Some of it's a need of about 4,000 square feet that we have been subleasing from Custom Comfort Mattress. And they're the master leasee, so they're expanding their showroom, which is encroaching on our floor space. So it was more of a need to move rather than an upgrade or anything like that. It's a little bit bigger than we currently have, size-wise, from our total square footage, but really it's not a big change operationally because it's actually cheaper for us to be making the move because the landlord's raising the rent in our current location and all that. So, but a little background, I mean, my family moved to Lake Forest when I was in high school. I stayed in Mission Viejo because I was already there, but my brother and sister went to El Toro High School. My mom lives in the city, so we're kind of happy to be back in the city. My wife and I coached at El Toro High School for 4 years, the women's soccer program. So we're pretty tight in the community. We have a lot of good relationships in there, and so we're looking forward to kind of branching into Lake Forest a little bit more. Most of our clientele is in Mission Viejo, but with the location only being a mile from our current spot, that was important to us because most of our members live within about 3.5 miles of our gym, so we needed to stay close. We're also looking forward to servicing some more members of the city of Lake Forest. But are there any questions? Sorry.
Great. Does anybody have any questions of the applicant?
So I'm assuming you'll change the name from Mission CrossFit to Lake Forest CrossFit? No.
So there's already a Forest CrossFit. Pete,
No,
yeah, Pete just got his new CUP. So yeah, we talked about that. He joked around that I had to sell the gym to him, but no. We'll keep the Mission. It's never been Mission Viejo CrossFit. So.
So the square footage in this one, I know that the Quakes Baseball Academy's been empty next door for probably a year, 6 months or whatever. Would that space be way too big for you?
Actually, Quakes is still existing.
So
Quakes was the spot that we are going into. Quakes was in as their first location. They're now next door, so they have 10,000 square feet next door.
Okay.
We're taking their original spot, which is convenient because their layouts.
So the buildings, this is the one on Geronimo and Cherry, right? Is that
Yes, sir. So it's right on the corner. So right as you make that right on Cherry to go work on your golf game.
Because I'm looking and I think the building's empty. It's been empty.
The space that we're going to occupy upon your approval, has been empty for 3 years. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
that
Quakes is in
makes
there
sense. So that's big. Because I thought it was the one next. Okay, good. Makes sense. Thank you.
Does anybody else have questions for our applicant? Do we have any other speakers? Well, I guess you get to sit down. Thank you. Well, actually, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do your kids still go to Gates?
So they don't. So we actually this January. This is my oldest daughter, Morgan. She's been asking to be homeschooled for the last few years.
Spanish.
Very good. Would you like to ask her some questions? I don't know Spanish, so anytime someone.
¿Dónde es el baño?
Oh, there we go.
My son went to
that.
Gates, and
Okay.
his Spanish is still pretty good.
Yeah, so our kids are. We have 4 of them. We have 4 of them that went through Gates for. Morgan went all the way through 6th grade, and then our oldest went through middle of 5th grade before we started homeschooling.
Great. Well, welcome, Morgan.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Okay. Let's bring it back up here. Anybody have any discussion?
I'd make a motion that we close
We
the
have
public
some
hearing.
discussion yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
everyone, yeah. I've looked at the parking study. My only concern is if there is that overflow, and I know we've got a condition in this. I'd like to see it maybe a little stronger, but I think I can live with it. But that's the biggest thing that I can see. We might have a problem in the overflow, because I'm sure your business is going to continue to grow. No, you don't have to get it. That's okay. And I'm optimistic and hopeful that it does grow, for your benefit as well as for the city. But I am concerned that there's other businesses there, and we just need to be cognizant that we might be looking at this. And again, the parking, just make sure that we're okay.
Not that that's in the study, but I think there is street parking too along Cherry and all that stuff too, so
Right.
that could accommodate some of that. And I think am I correct in saying classes, people don't just show up. There's certain times for certain classes, and it's limited by how many number of people can be in each class.
Yeah, there's good limitations. I can live with this. It's just kind of a cautionary kind of comment.
Thank you, Jerry. Anybody else have comments?
This is an example of a tailored parking solution. Very interesting. And I think in this case, we have to trust the declarations made by the applicant, and we have to trust the analysis in the parking study. And with that thought, I'd make a motion that we close the public hearing and that we approve use permit as proposed by staff.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, hearing no further discussion, let's vote. Congratulations, welcome to Lake Forest. Motion carries 5-0. All right, next item.
Amending a previous plan sign program for Kenyatta Business Center, and Amanda Loffer has a staff report this evening.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The item before you tonight is an amendment to the existing plan sign program for the Kenyatta Business Center, which is located off Lake Forest and Lambert Street. The amendment for the plan sign program proposes a new tenant wall sign location for tenant suite 1604, which is currently occupied by Heroes and Legends Restaurant. In 2015, a change plan application was approved to allow for exterior modifications to the tenant suite, including a new outdoor patio area and black canopies. The location of the canopies interferes with the sign band where signage is currently allowed under the existing plan sign program. Therefore, Heroes and Legends proposes signage on the building wall above the existing sign band location. The amendment would allow for a maximum letter height of 27 inches and a maximum length of 21 feet. Based on the lineal frontage of the tenant suite, these regulations are consistent with those permitted under the sign code. The amendment would allow only tenant suite 1604 to have the option for wall signage to be located in the previously approved sign band location or on the building wall above the sign band. All other tenants within the business park will be subject to the regulations of the existing plan sign program. Overall, the amendment of the plan sign program would allow for a more prominent sign location for larger business. The proposed location and size of the signs are comparable to other retail and food establishments in the city and are consistent with the regulations in the sign code. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of this plan sign program. I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have, and the applicant as well as the business owner is in the audience as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. With that, we'll open up the public hearing, and do we have any questions of staff? Hearing none, do we have any speakers?
Kind of a split one. Steve Atterbury or John? Yeah.
This is John. I'm with Stanford Sign. We've been hired by John.
John, we'd ask that you say your name and your city of residence before you begin.
Hi, I'm Steven. And
Last name?
Yeah, Atterbury.
Thank you.
And I'm from San Diego. And I'm with Stanford Sign and Awning. And we've been hired by John who's the owner of Heroes and Legends, to do his signage and to work with Amanda on the amendment, sign program amendment. So that's what we're here for tonight. And any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Does anybody have any questions of our sign maker? Your sign is very nice looking.
Thank you.
All the way from San Diego, and we have nothing for you. Sorry.
That could
But I
be a
think
good
that's
thing.
I think that's good news.
Thank you.
And does the owner want to come up and we'll do the same thing with the name and the.
John Melkonian, owner of Heroes and Legends. So basically, we started this project like a couple years ago. It's been a very, very lengthy process to get the approvals between the fire department and the city process, you know, to get our concept be realized, because, you know, every time the fire department approves something, the city doesn't like it. The city wants something, the fire department says no. So, and with the architectural firm too. Anyway, so I don't want to prolong that. So it's been a very ardent, lengthy process. And finally we're open, we're in business. It took me over 2 years. And at this point, our last challenge is to get this sign done. And that I don't know if you guys have seen that location. It looks like more like Office Depot, plain commercial look, unlike a lot of the restaurants on El Toro Boulevard, which are more cozy and inviting. And in that particular corner, that's what I'm trying to build, more like a family restaurant, family-oriented pub. And so for that, we need an awning to make it a bit more cozy and more inviting rather than an Office Depot look. It used to be like all aluminum frame and such. We gave it a wooden look, more of a warm look. All what we need now is left is to get the sign up there. And
Great.
I think once we put the awning, and you know, we need a nice looking sign to make that corner beautiful. And our landlord is PS Business Parks, their major property company in California and in Lake Forest. They sent a letter, they couldn't make it here, but their point is they're also very strict on what they require on their signages and on their properties. But, you know, on this corner, they find it adequate, you know, to make the exceptions, and since it's a corner location, you know, to have the sign up a little bit, you know, it will make it only better for their
Great.
property and the look of the area.
Let me just ask, do we want to have that letter from the property owner admitted? So at some point you could hand that to our city attorney going for you. Does anybody have any questions of either, well, we already decided we didn't want Mr. San Diego, but of the owner? Tom?
This does not describe in much detail what type of sign you're going to have. Is this going to be another reverse halo type of sign, or can you give me a little more details of what the sign itself would look like?
Did you see this? Okay.
Yes, you're right. Reverse pan halo. So it's a channel letter that shines back onto the wall as opposed to through. And it gives it the nice halo look.
So it's not going to create a big glare for the people across the street?
Right. Correct.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to know, because that wasn't real clear in the presentation.
Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll bring it back up here. Does anybody have any discussion about the Heroes and Legends plan?
Well, I'm to see that particular restaurant's going in that location. I think that's a real good addition to the community. I'd make a motion to close the public hearing and to bring it back up to staff recommendation for this project.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been first and second, and I would also like to say that it's a fun place. I think it's been a fun addition, and you have one great employee in Jordan Terrio. Don't let him go. And with that, does anybody have any more discussion? We'll vote. Congratulations.
Thank you.
5-0. All right. Gail again.
Yes, our last item this evening is a general plan amendment, amending the general plan land use element and recreation and resources element to reflect changes for 7 sites related to previously approved public facility sites. And Ron Santos has a staff report for this item.
Chair Fuentes and members of the Planning Commission, as Gail mentioned, this item is a city-initiated general plan amendment for the purpose of achieving consistency between the general plan land use map and several prior city land use approvals. The proposed GPA corresponds to 7 sites citywide, as illustrated in the map provided as attachment 2 of the staff report. In each case, the proposed amendments match the general plan land use designation to the existing land uses on the 7 sites. In addition to the changes to the land use map, this amendment would also delete narrative corresponding to the mineral resource and public facility overlays from the land use element, as these designations would no longer appear on the land use map. And additionally, the amendment would update table LU-3 to reflect changes to the land use designations. No development is proposed in conjunction with this general plan amendment. The proposed changes were evaluated in an addendum to several previously certified environmental impact analyses. The addendum concluded that the general plan amendment is consistent with the prior analysis. Therefore, no additional environmental analysis is required. This item requires a review and approval by the City Council, and staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the GPA to the City Council. That
Thank you, Ron. Okay, so we'll open the public hearing. Do we have any on this item? No speakers. Let's bring it back up here. Does anybody have any questions for staff? I think I went that the wrong way, but we'll go back to questions for staff. Can I get a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve staff's recommendation to forward this on to the City Council.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Let's vote. Motion carries. Thank you, Ron. Okay, with that, we are going to go to discussion items. Do we have any report from our city attorney?
No comment.
From our Director of Development Services?
Yes, I have a few comments this evening. Thank you all. We did send out a notice. We are trying to schedule 2 special meetings, for one in 2 weeks from now, August 25th and September 22nd. And thank you for responding. I heard from all of the commissioners. We've been able to rearrange some of our other agendas, and so we are not going to have either of those special meetings. So you can remove those from your calendar, and our next meeting will be our regular September meeting. And I also wanted to let you know that registrations are open for the California APA, that's the American Planning Association. Once a year there's a statewide conference, great seminars you may be interested in. And this year it's in Pasadena, so there's a lot of mobile tours available and a lot of great topics. If you're interested, please get in touch with Peggy. We'd be happy to sign you up and you could attend that. That's all I have this evening.
What are the dates?
We can send that information to you.
An email to us?
Yeah, and they just we just saw the first of the program listing. So really a good conference, and Pasadena is a great location.
Just saw the trailer.
Okay, so we'll then come back up here, just with commissioner comments. Jerry, want to start?
No. Brian, it's nice to have you back, and a nice presentation. Amanda, same with you. And Ron, it's always good to see you. We had straightforward programs here tonight, and everything was laid out very well for us. I appreciate it.
Just want to thank the staff again for a really fine job. The information you gave us was very complete, and we didn't have to ask for many questions. So thank you again very much.
I'd like to thank staff for organizing all the information, which makes it very easy for us, and particularly I'd like to compliment Ron for organizing a lot of details so that they just flow very easily and it's very easy to understand. Thank you.
Okay, I have no comment either, so I think we can just adjourn the meeting.